Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, so we're on polynomials right now, and what we want to do in this video is we want to talk about multiplying polynomials. So we're going to start with some very simple examples. Okay, so we want to distribute the 2x through the brackets, so you don't need to put the arrows, but helps to see what's going on. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times -4, -8x. That's all there is to it. Okay, that one's done. -3m squared times m squared minus 6m. So this times this will be -3m to the power of 4. We're not multiplying those exponents, we're adding them, okay? So when you multiply the base is m, we add the exponents. And you do this all the time. It's just one of those things that you don't really even realize you're doing. Because what I'm going to get next is plus, because a negative times a negative is positive. 3 and 6 make 18 multiplied. And then the 2 on that 2 exponent and that 1 exponent give me an exponent of 3. So that's where you can see that we're adding those exponents when we're multiplying those bases, and the bases have to be the same, okay? Then let's have a look at this one. Okay, so when they start to get a bit longer, it's a good idea to just work from left to right as much as you can, always following BEDMAS rules. Okay, this is, it takes practice to understand how to do this without giving it a lot of thought. But basically, if you work from left to right, but keep in mind your BEDMAS, you're going to be fine. And don't skip steps, okay? We'll learn that when we talk about solving equations. It's really important not to skip steps, okay? So 4 times 2x is 8x. Then we have minus 28, okay? Because 4 times -7 is -28. Now, you're not going to subtract 5 from that 28 because we're going to carry on. And so I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to look and see what sign do I have to put next. So I always want to look a half a step ahead and not be too quick to write things down. I'm going to get a negative now because a negative times a positive is a negative, and then I'm going to get 20x. So this multiplication has to happen before any of these resulting terms are added or subtracted to or from these first terms, okay? -5 plus 9, so that gives me -45. Okay, now we have to combine our like terms. So number line work. How are you with your number line? 8 minus 20. All right, so when we're subtracting and one of the numbers is positive and one of the numbers is negative, we're going to end up with either a negative or a positive. It depends on which number is bigger. So in this case, the 20 is the bigger number and it's a negative. So I know my answer will be negative. Now, what is the difference between 8 and 20? So if I did 20 minus 8, is that easier? Probably, and it's 12, isn't it? So if you have an 8-year-old child or a cousin or brother and a 20-year-old brother, what is the difference in their ages? The difference is 12 years. So when one is positive and one is negative, ask yourself, what's the difference between those two numbers? And then when you've got that, then that's going to be your answer. But the answer will carry the sign of the larger number, okay? So here's what's going on. We've got, here's 8, okay? And we're subtracting 20, here's 0, so we're going that way. -12 is down there, and in here, there's 20 units. And you could, put 20 ticks and you would see that that would be correct, okay? So number line work, really important for all polynomial, all high school math, something you want to practice. Okay, so 8 minus 20, -12. Now here we have two negatives that we need to add. So think of it this way. Here's 0, okay, and your positive numbers are out here because that's the way they go, and the negative numbers are out here. So what I like to teach my students is if you have 0 here, then anchor yourself on one of the numbers. So if you want to anchor yourself at negative 28, that's here. And now we're subtracting, which means we're going that way. Okay, so we're going to get a bigger negative number. So when both numbers are negative, you can pretend that they're both positive for a moment and add them. Okay, 5 and 8 make 13, carry the 1. 1, 2, and 4 make 7. So these two numbers added make 73, but they're both negative, so it's negative 73. Okay, and that is this simplified. Okay, all right, next one. Always keep your BEDMAS in mind when you're working on these types of questions. Negative 6x squared, 3x squared minus 6x minus 9. Now don't worry that there's a common 3 here. Fantastic if you noticed it, but we're not factoring, we're multiplying. We're going in opposite directions. So we're going to multiply that through to all three signs. We're going to get negative 18x to the power of 4 plus, because we have two minus signs, 36x to the power of 3. Remember what I said? The exponents are added. So there's a 2 exponent here and a 1 exponent there. And 6 times 9 is 54. So the two minuses give us a plus and 54x squared. So again, know your times table, it will really help you. All right? Okay, that's that one. Now for this one, a lot of variables happening here, right? So don't get overwhelmed by how much there is, just kind of take it one bit at a time. So look for the common elements, all right? So 2 times 4, just pull it apart bit by bit. 2 times 4 is 8. A times a squared, remember we add the exponents, so the 1 there and the 2 there get added and we get 3. B squared times b, okay, 2 there, 1 there, reverse this time, but it's also 3, right? Now because this is positive, these signs are going to hold. So minus, there's only a 1 there, so that's going to give us 2. A times a is a squared, and b squared times b is b cubed. Then this times this is going to give us 6. A times a squared. B squared times b squared is b to the power of 4. And remember, we are not multiplying those 2's to get 4, we're adding them, okay? So that's your final answer there. Now we've done a lot of factoring in the last number of videos, and we're just going to see the other process now, going in the other direction. So when we multiply two binomials together, we use what's called the FOIL method, and it's not that fancy, it just stands for first. So we multiply the first terms, we multiply the outside terms, we multiply the inside terms, and we multiply the last terms, and that's where FOIL comes from. It would work if you did it in a different order, but I wouldn't suggest it, okay? Because it'll be easy, especially when they get longer and bigger, it'll be easy to get lost if you go in a different order. So the first term here times those, and then the second term times those, and it'll be easier that way, all right? So 3x times 3x will give us 9x squared. 3x times 4 will give us 12x. Now, did you notice that this is a perfect square trinomial? Or rather, we're going to end up with one, because we're squaring a binomial. So I could write this out like this. This is what I'm doing. I'm squaring 3x plus 4. The whole bracket is getting squared, okay? And then we end up with 16. And then in the middle, we get 24x and plus 16. And that one is done. And a couple more here. Okay, so for this one, same thing. this times this gives us 5m squared. This times this gives us negative 20m. That times that gives us negative 2m, and this times this gives us plus 8. The middle terms combine because they're the same kind of term, gives us minus 22, and finally plus 8. Okay, so minus 20, here's 0, here's minus 20, you got to go that way, subtract 2. So when you're subtracting or adding two numbers that both are negative, you're going to add them together and then just stick a negative in front. Okay, and that's the final answer for that one. And got lots of room here, so let's look at this last one. So one other way you can do this, if you tend to get lost in foiling, it doesn't happen to that many people, but it can happen. It's happened to me even. What you can do is you can say, well, this gets multiplied by all of that, and so does this get multiplied by all of that. So you can write it out like that, and then go ahead and multiply. And we'll see that this is easier, this is an easier way to do it when you've got 2 and 3 and 4 terms inside those brackets. Then it's really easy to get lost. So here, now we're just distributing, okay? It's not really foiling anymore, it's distributing now. So this times this, 10x squared, then minus 4x, plus 15x, and minus 6. Plus times a minus, minus 6. And then we bring the middle terms together. 15 minus 4 is 11. And you're done. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check back often for more topics. Thanks very much.